We know a couple things about global warming. We know that there's a stack of information on the side that says it's man-made. We know there's a stack of information on the other side that says it's not. We know the Earth has gone through periods of heating and cooling. So, and in addition to all that, we know that if we're going to solve this issue, it would have to be at a federal level. Whatever we do here in Spokane doesn't affect what happens in China. How many coal plants are they throwing up every day? So, some issues just need to be dealt with at the appropriate level, and that certainly is one of them. I'm not convinced that it's man-made. Even if I were, it's an issue that needs to be dealt with at the federal level, not the state level, because you're talking about carbon emissions coming from China, India, these other places, and that really is a federal issue to deal with. I do, however, think there's a lot of common cause for people that are concerned about carbon insofar as reducing our dependence on foreign oil, and so I think there are ways that carbon can be reduced, but in terms of global warming, I'm still waiting to be convinced by the evidence.
I'm absolutely a believer in that. But the real question is how we address it. And there are a number of ways that can address global warming on a local scale. Really is what we're concerned about at the state level. And, for example, we have the largest creator of greenhouse gases in the state right now is a coal-fired utility plant located in Centralia. As I suggested before, they actually get a tax break for burning coal, even though they buy their coal now out of state instead of using local miners. I think we should look at whether or not, instead of imposing greater restrictions on other businesses and creating higher costs there, we should find ways to phase out the use of that. Other ideas would be expanding our use of renewable energy around areas that we have not been willing to look at in the past. I prime-sponsored Senate Bill 5840 several years ago that would expand the definition of renewable portfolio standards, renewable energy, to include hydropower. For instance, right now, hydro is not considered renewable, although I think the vast majority of people would agree that it is. What we need to do is to incent efficiency upgrades on our existing hydroelectric facilities, including the large ones owned by BPA and some of the electric co-ops and public power entities. I think we need to incent power generation at existing impoundments, not creating new dams, but we have a number of water impoundments right now that are not creating electric generation. I think we should be looking at that. I think this state has pursued a very narrow strategy in the interest of addressing greenhouse gas production that has been far too costly. I think there's much more cost-effective ways to be environmentally conscious, address greenhouse gas production at the local level. The approach we're taking right now is far too expensive.